How would you like to hear one of the greatest spy stories ever that involves surviving a blackout? And also, the 3 most important generators you need to have to survive a blackout. If you have no idea who I am, my name is Jason Hanson. I'm a former CIA officer. You might recognize me from Shark Tank or Fox News. And I believe everybody should prepare for a blackout. I'm going to tell you what I personally do for my wife, my 6 kids, my family. But first, I'm going to tell you this amazing spy story that involves a blackout.
Please welcome back former CIA officer Jason Hanson.
Former CIA Jason Hanson.
This handsome fella is Jason Hanson.
Okay. This is Jason Hanson, former CIA guy.
So there was a gentleman who is known as a national treasure in his country. All that means is somebody who was not an American citizen, was super bright, intelligent, had connections everywhere, was involved in maybe the electrical grid in some important country we wanted to know about, and also knew things about our adversaries who were trying to bring down the United States and take down our power grid. So the long story short is this national treasure, this specific gentleman, who again was not a United States citizen, did not like Americans. And the intelligence operations of our country, the US government, they were trying to recruit this gentleman. And they've been trying to recruit this gentleman for years. And every time somebody approached him, tried to recruit him and say, hey, why don't you work for the US? Why don't you help us? We'll pay you a boatload of money, etc., etc., etc. This gentleman turned us down, us as in the US government. And so finally, we knew something was coming down. We knew something bad about the grid going down. And there was an intelligence operative who was sent out as a last-ditch attempt. And the stakes, they were high, but everybody said, hey, listen, this guy's turned us down a gazillion times. We've tried everything. We've tried to, bribe with everything. And he just does not like America, and he doesn't want to work with us. He doesn't want to help us. So they sent this guy in. Well, there was a conference overseas where the foreign gentleman, the national treasure, who the U.S. government wants to recruit, is giving a presentation. And so the U.S. intelligence operative has a couple days to go over to where this conference is, try and recruit this guy. Now, of course, everybody else tried to, wine and dine him, try to give him money and everything, but you're going to see what this specific intelligence operative did is amazing, and it saved the United States from having a potential blackout. So here's what happened. The intelligence operative, he gets to the conference, he sees this famous guy who everybody's surrounding, everybody loves, all that kind of stuff. And he sticks out as an American, obviously. He's very obvious he's American, and this foreign guy is very used to being recruited. So the U.S. intelligence operative walks up to him in this group and says, hey, listen, you know who I am, you know why I'm here. I already know your answer is no, so I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to have a fun time on the U.S. tax dollars. So if anybody asks you, please just tell them I tried, and then tell them you told me no. That's it, see you later. Turns his back, walks away, right? At this conference, like many conferences, there are beautiful women. So he starts hanging around the beautiful woman. He makes friends with them. And one of the things that was done beforehand was to locate this foreign intelligence guy's best friend who was going to be at the conference. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, that the U.S. intelligence operative and this foreign guy's best friend just happen to bump into each other in the bathroom. So they strike it up. They become, start hanging out. And the U.S. intelligence operative, who is surrounded by beautiful women, is hanging out with them, brings this guy's best friend, and they start hanging around this beautiful woman. So you have to realize these guys, these scientists, are nerds, like any man. All men are idiots when they're surrounded by beautiful women. But this scientist is like, oh my gosh, I've never hung around so many beautiful women in my life. Cool, let's do this. And so that night, the U.S. intelligence operative and this guy's best friend go out to a bar, they party, they pick up women, and the U.S. intelligence operative is just giving this guy's best friend the time of his life, right? And again, he's a nerd. He's not used to this kind of stuff. So the next day, he tells his buddy, the foreign guy that we want to recruit, he's like, man, I had the greatest night of my life last night with this guy. And so the gentleman, again, who we're trying to recruit, walks up to him and is like, hey, I heard you guys had a good time. Can I hang out with you tonight? And he says, no. I don't want to, get in trouble with you. I know the answer is no. So I'm just here to have a good time and spend Uncle Sam's dollars. So very next night, the best friend and this guy go out again, have the night of their life. They're picking up women. They're driving cars crazy. They're just, spending money like crazy. Again, our tax dollars at play. And so, again, his best friend tells him. And the very next day he says, you gotta let me come out with you guys. And he says, all right, I promise I will let you come out as long as we can just have fun. We're not gonna talk business and we can have the time of our lives. So, okay, it's a deal. So they go out that night. Shows these two guys, time of their lives. Again, same thing, dancing with beautiful women, driving around crazy in sports cars, eating, multi-$1,000 dinners, just the most amazing night. So the very next day is the end of the conference. Everybody's getting ready to leave after all the presentations and everything. And the U.S. intelligence operative is waving goodbye to the foreign gentleman, right? And the foreign gentleman says, no, wait, come here. Hey, I need to tell you something. I was around about you guys, had a great time, so here's the information you're looking for. Red Dragon. Remember Red Dragon. Now, obviously, that's not the real words he told him. But long story short, that was some critical information, some code words that helped the U.S. government stop a major cyber attack that was aimed at bringing down our electrical grid and setting us back in the Stone Age. So there are many, many ways in the intelligence business to conduct an operation. If you go and try and recruit somebody and they don't want money and they don't want all this stuff, well then you play the old hard to get, which of course works everywhere. Meaning if you're a single man or woman, you play hard to get, you know how it works. And in this instance, it works perfectly. So with that being said, there is going to come a time, maybe it'll be in 10 years, who knows when it's going to come. Nobody knows. But our adversaries, China, Russia, Iran, are always trying to bring down our grid, and our grid is extremely old. The infrastructure is poor. Most people have no idea how bad it is. So I believe you've got to have multiple backups. I believe you should have generators. I believe you should have ways to cook your food. Propane stoves I love. So I have multiple propane stoves. That way, if heaven forbid the grid goes down, I can hook up my propane, the 20-gallon tanks, or the 20-pound tanks, the small green tanks you buy at Walmart or whatever. I have a ton of propane to be able to cook my food. But let's talk about the generators. They're sitting behind me right now. Over here, this bad boy's a Honda. I believe one of your generators should be a gasoline, in my humble opinion. Honda makes the best gasoline generators, so have one of these. Obviously, you need a long extension cord because you ain't running this thing in your house. So make sure you have a long enough extension cord, that way you can run it away so you're not going to kill yourself from the gas fumes. So definitely have a Honda generator. Of course, the downside with these gasoline generators is that gas can go bad. So make sure you have some fuel stabilizer. Make sure you run it and check it as you should do, your generators at least once a month. Just start it for a few minutes, very easy to do. So number one, gas generator. Next, number two, right behind me, this is a solar generator. I love solar generators, obviously, because you can run them at home, because they're silent, they don't announce to the world that you're powering something. So solar generators come in 500 watts, 1,000 watts, 1,500, come in all kinds of watts. Obviously, make sure you have several panels. For me, this is a 500 watt generator, but again, you can buy them all kind of stuff. So you would be out of your mind these days not to have a solar generator. I live in Utah, we get a ton of sun because I'm in southern Utah, closer to Las Vegas. And so I can run this all day long and I can have all the power I need. So absolutely have a solar generator. Next, I'm gonna have to stand up here before I sit down. I'm like Vanna White, unveiling this thing. So let me take this off. Let me pull back the cover here. Here, I'll even tip this forward just a minute so you get a look at this over here. I'll even step out of the way. This is a propane generator. This is a large propane generator. This company that made it, I believe, is it's the Buffalo Sportsman generator. I love propane generators, and the reason is you can store propane indefinitely. So don't store it in your house, store it in a shed in the backyard or something, but it doesn't matter how hot it is, it doesn't matter how cold it is you can store propane forever. So that's why I'm a huge fan of propane generators along with propane stoves. So unlike gasoline, where you're gonna have the fuel stabilizer, where the gas is gonna go bad, you don't have to worry about propane going bad, and it's easy to, again, buy all the 20-pound tanks. So to summarize, absolutely have a generator, have a gas, have a solar, have a propane. Make sure you're prepared for a blackout. Of course, if you live in a place that gets cold, as I do, make sure you got plenty of blankets, sleeping bags, quality sleeping bags, and also the Mr. Buddy propane heater. There's a gazillion propane heaters. That just happens to be the one I own. Those are ones that work also to stay warm. So please, 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 again, our adversaries are always trying to knock out our electrical grid. Please be prepared for a blackout. If you want more safety and survival tips, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the ring notification bell. Have a wonderful day. And again, I'm former CI officer Jason Hanson. God bless you. God bless your family.